Good day everyone, I am Karen Hugin from Bethlehem ICT 3, and for today's video, we will talk about the types of hand stitch, the 9 basic hand stitches. So first, straight running stitch. The running stitch or straight stitch is the most basic of hand sewing stitches. It has many variations according to the requirement. Uses gathering, mending, tacking. Procedure on how to make. Insert your threaded needle from the wrong side upwards. Insert it down into the fabric according to marked design. Bring the thread back up and repeat. Number 2. Basting and tacking stitch. It is the same as the running stitch, but with longer stitches between 1/4 and 1/2 inches. You can do it straight also instead of slanting as in running stitch. Tacking, holding, it can be used as a temporary stitch. The procedure. First, you threaded needle from the wrong side upwards. According to the marked design, first it down into the fabric with longer stitches up to 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. Bring the thread back up and repeat. Number 3. Back stitch. A hand-sewn back stitch is a strong, reliable stitch. Before sewing machine, all clothes were built by layer upon layer of back stitches. Uses: attach fabrics, outlines shapes for embroidery design. Writing. Procedure. Working from left to right, take a small stitch. Then, insert the needle at the end of the previous stitch, bringing it out beyond the point with the thread emerge. Continue always inserting the needle at the end of the previous stitches. Number 4. Catch stitch or cross stitch. Uses: hem, seam allowances, lining garments. Procedure. Working from left to right, take tiny stitches on the hem. Then take a tiny stitch on the garment. They will appear as crosses on the wrong side and small stitches on the right, as seen as in the image. Number 5. Slip stitch or blend stitch. This is the most used stitch for hems of other finishes. It's also invisible and clean when it done right. Uses: join 2 pieces with stitch thread being invisible. Hem. The procedure. Bring the needle through the fold of the hem. Pick up the thread of fabric at the same point. Make the stitches about 1/2 inch and fairly close. A slip stitch is a common hem stitch as it's used when you don't want visible stitches. Number 6. Blanket stitch or buttonhole stitch. The uses: enclose the raw edges of heavy fabrics, decorate stitches. Procedure. Secure the thread on the wrong side of fabric. Insert the needle from back and front through the fabric 1/8 inch from the edge. Wrap the working head around behind the eye end of the needle, then behind the point. Pull the needle through, bringing the knot to the fabric edge. Continue making closely spaced stitches and knots. Fill stitch. Fill stitch is known as a applique stitch, which is one layer of fabric, generally a folded or selvage edge, that is stitched to another. It's quick, strong, and flexible. The piece sewn in with a fill stitch can move somewhat like a hinge, and that makes it good for installing linings. The procedure. Emerge of the fold edges. The stitch should be about 1 mm away from the fold. Insert the needle directly into the fabric next to the fold. Run in diagonal so that emerge beyond the first stitch. Fold the stitch close so the stitches between 1/2 to 1/4 inch apart. Okay, let's proceed to the number 8. Overcast stitch. Overcast stitch is one of several types of hand stitches. The purpose is to prevent the unraveling of the fabric. The uses enclose raw edges of a fabric. 9. Whip stitch. The whip stitch is a simple stitch used in button and crocheting. It is usually used to sew together two separate pieces of material with blunt edges in both practices. When it used in the crocheted works, with the whip stitch is nearly invisible. For sewn work, the stitch is more visible but can be masked. The uses: quilting, plique making, using the side of pillows and cushion, making jeans garments, trimming the side of carpets. And that's all. Thank you.